Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 51 of our WWE 2021 Save and TEW 2020. This is SmackDown for week 3 in October, and after this one, only one SmackDown episode to go before No Mercy. And we're excited about that one, but this is just a very exciting time for our WWE Save right now after the big development on Raw. If you haven't checked that out yet, do so. We had a huge angle to end the show on Raw, and now we jump into SmackDown, which there's more angles and more big angles to wrap up this particular show. Again, as we head towards our SmackDown branded pay-per-view at No Mercy. Let's jump in with a pre-show and America's favorite tag team now. Maybe that's what we should call them. I'm just kidding. We're not going to use that. Ricochet and Jeff Hardy get the win over Elias and Otis. 62, and as you can see here, we've done it again. Like our run right now of chemistry is just something. It's funny because I initially almost put Apollo Crews and Elias in here, but instead I put Otis in instead, and it worked out because now we see that Elias and Otis have great chemistry when teaming together. So our tag team division actually could be coming together quite nicely, based off of tag teams that we never actually needed to put together and we were never going to put together. But maybe this is something that will give us at least something to work with when it comes to building our tag team division. Of course, we've already done that for the most part on Raw now. We've added a lot more teams to the mix, and of course, we'll be doing that on SmackDown too as we start to use Ricochet and Jeff a little more. I said I was going to do that on the previous episode once we saw that the chemistry was there, and I've already started working that into some plans. So maybe we need to put Elias and Otis somewhere. Maybe there's some potential there. We'll see. But it is Ricochet and Jeff getting the win here on the pre-show. Their second straight victory in pre-show action. All right, let's jump into the main episode here. And it starts with our commissioner, Mick Foley, making an announcement. And in a nice rating, 69 overall, Mick Foley announces that our main event will be an 8-man tag team extravaganza, as one side will feature Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and the Usos going up against John Cena, Damian Priest, and the Viking Raiders. So a big 8-man tag here. We're not at Survivor Series yet, but we're already throwing out the 8-man tags on this one. But huge main events, and I'm very curious to see how that one unfolds from a rating standpoint. But there you go. There's our main event for this episode. And watching Mick Foley make this announcement is none other than the man that usually kicks off SmackDown, and he's probably a little pissed that he didn't get the opening segment here. But he does have something to say. And in an 85, he delivers as always. Roman Reigns is at the table with the Usos on each side. And, of course, last week, Reigns said that he had reached a breaking point with the Usos. All they're losing, not proving that they can be winners on their own. They always need either him or a tag team partner, but they have yet to prove that on their own, they cannot be winners anymore. And he's losing faith in them. He's lost all faith in them. So Reigns says he's made a decision, and the only way for them to prove that they should still be part of the bloodline and that they are indeed a winner is by having them face each other. So Reigns says at No Mercy, he wants Jimmy Uso to go one-on-one with Jey Uso. And the Usos sort of look at Reigns. They look at each other. They are not happy about this at all. But Reigns says nothing else and just sits there. And they try to get his attention. They're saying, "Are you kidding me?" All this other stuff. Reigns does not say a word. He just sits there, and then he just raises his hand and motions for them to leave the table. So there's your setup for Reigns, apparently, saying that he wants to see these two go one-on-one. If they want to still be in the bloodline, they're going to have to prove themselves, and perhaps we'll finally see a winner between these two. Don't know which one, but Reigns just wants to see a winner within the Usos. So there's an interesting setup, and we'll have more to come on this a little bit later on. And then we go into our first match, as it is Samoa Joe getting the win over Baron Corbin, 11:48. Muscle Buster does it, 66 overall here. Just sort of your basic match to build up Joe. He's going to be in our Intercontinental Championship match, as we know, at No Mercy, and that's really what this was. And speaking of that, afterwards, wow, this did much better than I expected. 76, because usually, all these guys are really in the 60s. So I am very impressed that this did a 76 overall, because, even our interviews we've done with like Lee and Joe have not done great numbers, but this is fantastic. So everyone improvises well here, and after the match, Keith Lee walks out and comes on down, stares down Samoa Joe. Again, that's going to be our Intercontinental Champion, Keith Lee, defending his title. But not to be forgotten is the man who earned his spot in the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at No Mercy, as Shinsuke Nakamura walks out on the stage. And as Lee and Joe are staring each other down, Lee outside the ring, Joe in the ring, Nakamura on the stage, and he stares down both of them after earning his spot, beating Apollo Crews on last week's SmackDown. So, your usual tease here to kind of, give you that tension between these three. And after this, 76, I'm really looking forward to this match at No Mercy. I hope it delivers the way that I think it can, but I think this is going to be a fun triple threat. So I'm glad we went this direction on that, because I think this should be a really good match. So the tension continues to rise between these three as, again, we're only about a week away from No Mercy. And then Sonya Deville gets a win over Tamina, 728, 53 overall. Not a great match, but we still have the groundswell of public support for both ladies here. And I actually look back, I'd forgotten. I don't think we've actually ever had this match. Actually, I think we did. We had this match one time, and I want to say that was like in early August, because that's when we were building towards the tag team match. And I think we had this match, but I think it actually went to like a DQ or something, maybe. One of those shady finishes. You guys know I do all these cheap finishes. I'm just kidding. I try to stay away from those. But that, I think, we have the rematch here, and Deville gets the win. Obviously, she's got the momentum right now with everything. And as we know, we didn't really have any place to put it on this show, but I'm just going to insert it myself here. As a reminder, our women's tag team champions, Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler, will be facing a mystery team at No Mercy, and we will further that development next week. But this is just such a loaded show. We just had to sort of cram everything in, and that included Deville getting a win here. And then it's Mick Foley backstage. A lot of Foley on this show. Foley says he's welcomed in, John Cena, and he starts talking with Cena about, just random stuff. And here comes Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn walks in, and he is not happy. He's still got his button on his shirt, the beat John Cena button that he put together a little ways back here a couple weeks ago. And now all he's gotten for it is a couple of AAs from John Cena. And Zayn says he's glad to see these two in the same room, because he knew that they were conspiring against him. He knew it, and he's caught them red-handed. And he is here to say that he is absolutely tired of the conspiracies. He's tired of it. He knows Mick Foley and John Cena are working together. He knows everything from everyone in the production truck. Everyone is working with John Cena against him. And yet, he says he knows it, but he's going to prove that he's still better than John Cena, because he's already beaten John Cena once, and he wants to do it again. And he wants a match with Cena at No Mercy. And Cena, Foley, just standing there looking at Sami Zayn. He's just, red-faced. He's just all mad and frustrated. And Cena just sits there and says, sure. And Cena walks out. And Zayn is just, he is just, lost his mind here. He's tired of the conspiracies. So Foley nods his head. Cena says, yeah. So there you go. It's set. John Cena versus Sami Zayn at No Mercy. Cena seemingly not taking Zayn too seriously here after, all the charades with saying that he beat him when he didn't actually do that. And then, we've had Cena hit the AA a couple times here on him. So Cena not necessarily overlooking Zayn, but he has gotten the better of him a couple times here in the build-up to what is now going to be a match between the two at No Mercy. And then those guys walk out, and here comes Jinder Mahal. We have not seen Jinder Mahal in quite a while on SmackDown, and that is kind of the point of this segment, is that Jinder Mahal walks in. Foley goes from shaking his head about Sami Zayn to now shaking his head about Jinder Mahal, because Mahal walks in and says that he's the only one in this company that can put a stop to Drew McIntyre and his rage and all of this stuff we've had going on with Drew. And Foley, once again, just as he did with Sami Zayn, he's just nodding his head, wondering what this guy's talking about. Does he really want to go out there and feel like he can put a stop to Drew McIntyre on this just complete madness that McIntyre's had in recent weeks. And Mahal just talking himself up, confident as could be. Foley says, you got it. You want Drew McIntyre? Go right ahead. So Mahal makes his way out, and that's going to lead us into Jinder Mahal getting his ass beat in 3 minutes and 1 second via Drew McIntyre and the Claymore kick here and gets a 70. So actually, a decent match. As you guys know, we've done this match a couple times before, and I thought it would just kind of be fun here to bring it back because I want to say this is the third time we've done it. We've been doing this series 4 months or so now, so I try not to do too many rematches, but I just thought it was too good to pass up this opportunity to kind of have Drew just completely destroy Jinder here after, beating him the first couple times and Jinder just walking in with all this confidence. That'll lead to something down the road with Jinder. I've not had a lot to really book him with right now. But I'm actually pleased that it did a 70 because it was designed as a squash match. And I assume we got a bump from that. It was capped due to the short match length, so we didn't really get the quality squash note or anything like that, but it's fine. This was all about Drew just destroying Jinder here. Another win for Drew McIntyre, and it will not be the last we see of Drew either on this show. And then we cut backstage. He's here. The Rock is on SmackDown once again, as we learned last week. Our main event for No Mercy, The Rock and Damian Priest tagging up to take on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Quite a tag team match. And this gets an 89. It is, hey, look, Damian struggles here, underperforms. I don't care. He's in an 89 segment with The Rock. He's only going to benefit from this. And as we know, we've really built up Damian Priest. And if his overness gets to where I think it's going to get, just being in this program with The Rock, that's all we're asking for here. The Rock, his usual, everything you get with The Rock, he's ready. He's excited. He's coming back to the ring. Like, he knows now his match is set. His career's on the line at Survivor Series when he goes one-on-one with Roman Reigns in our main event for the Universal Championship. But this is his return to the ring. He's teaming up with Damian Priest. He gives a little bit of the rub here to Priest. Talking about, really talking him up and all this other stuff. But The Rock makes it clear that he didn't come back just to come back. He came back to whip some candy ass, and that's exactly what he's going to do here with Reigns and Rollins at No Mercy. And then he's going to go on to Survivor Series and finally prove that Roman Reigns is not the head of the table and that The Rock says he's going to be back and he's going to win the Universal Championship. So The Rock feeling it here. He's excited. He's got his first match back. It's going to be at No Mercy. And then, of course, the big match comes at Survivor Series against Roman Reigns. So great segment here. This is what we want when we have The Rock in any segment, and Damian Priest as well. Wow. This is something. 75. This also exceeded my expectations. Bianca Belair gets the win over Dakota Kai, but it is via disqualification, as we do have Raquel Gonzalez interfering here. But, again, Dakota Kai's overness is like in the... Honestly, I think her overness is probably in the upper 40s maybe, if that. So, to get a 75 here, I am very pleased with that. But I think it shows just the greatness we have with Bianca here. But Dakota's a very good worker, and when you look at her skills, that shows it too. And she does have good star quality. So, I'm very pleased with this. But we did do Steal the Show. We wanted to see how good they could do here. And, so it really worked out well on this. So, we made this an open match. Kind of showcasing Dakota Kai a little bit too. But it's a 75, and it does end in the DQ with Raquel Gonzalez getting involved. She attacks Bianca Belair, just as Alexa Bliss has been saying. It's all about the numbers, and she has really played that up since she's returned. And, of course, she came back with Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez at her side, and that is kind of what she's played up here. So you have Raquel get involved. It causes the interference, and that leads to... After the match, gets a 68, so not as good. But Raquel underperforms here. But, of course, Bliss is out. She starts taunting Belair as the double team begins. And that is, Gonzalez and Kai attacking Bianca. And, again, Bliss is just there taunting Bianca, talking about, again, she's got the advantage. The numbers are on her side. And she said that as long as Bianca was champion, she was going to have no help, No one wanted to help her because she was the target and everyone wanted her championship. And so this was all about, Bliss taking advantage here of the situation. But as Alexa is taunting Bianca Belair and Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai are just starting the beatdown here, here they come. The returning Asuka and Kairi Sane here. She is back. And we now have a little bit of a cavalry here for Bianca Belair as they hit the ring. And now we've got a 3-on-3 brawl. Bianca's up. She's brawling with Alexa. We've got Asuka and Kairi Sane here. They're going at Raquel and Dakota. It's just all-out brawling. You guys know I love my brawls. And this is what you're getting here with these 6. So even though, the number is not great here, 67, Asuka makes her return. We haven't seen Asuka in a couple months. And, of course, that was kind of for a reason. You guys know I kind of filter people in and out sometimes when it comes to sort of these pay-per-view cycles and such. But we had kind of planned on getting her big return here, kind of in this spot, and it worked out that we have, Zayn here as well. And knowing that we have her on the roster, I just thought we got to bring her back. Like she's on the roster, and it's just a good opportunity. I think, again, we talk about the tag team division. Here we go. Like, we've got another new tag team, a fresh tag team that we've not done anything with yet. We've got these two that can certainly be a tag team. We've tried to do that on both shows, and I think you guys have probably seen that. Like, I've really made that the focus over the past month and a half or so. You can go back to Unforgiven when we had the big tag team debut there on the men's side. So that's really been the focus, and we're building more of these teams and factions, sort of, not necessarily in all cases. Like, we're not really going to have these 3 as a faction, but we are trying to add more duos and teams so we can put some fresh matches together and those kind of things. So that was the point of bringing these 2 back here. We have another tag team to work with, and now Bianca has a little help in her battle here with these 3. So I thought this was the spot to do it, and so there's another surprise. So I always enjoy those, but Asuka's back, and Kairi Sane is also back in WWE. So there you go on that. And then Mick Foley is backstage. Drew McIntyre, after his match, starts walking out. He's headed towards the parking lot, and Foley says, Drew, I got to stop you for just a second. He wants to know what is going on, what is happening right now with all this stuff, with McIntyre just coming out, losing his mind. Last week, as we know, he just beats down Bray Wyatt again, and I mean, it's even more brutal than the first time he beat him down back at the pay-per-view at Great American Bash several months ago. And, as we saw, we had the little nod from Wyatt that he was just beaten down, taken out, bloodied, but yet Wyatt still had a little bit of a smile on his face as though he enjoyed it. And Foley's, he just wants to know what's going on. Like, Drew's got to stop this madness. And McIntyre says, if anyone should know what's going on, it's you, Mick Foley. And he tells him that Foley should know better than anyone that once you find that dark side, that there's no going back. And that's kind of what McIntyre is hinting at here, sort of a new version of himself, a more aggressive version, as we've seen. And he just tells him, I'm doing what I have to do to get what I want. And that's McIntyre's message. And Foley, as McIntyre is walking out, Foley just kind of stares at him and then says, Drew, I do understand, but I also understand that sometimes there are some people that just have your number. And that leaves McIntyre a little bit pissed. He turns around at Foley, gives him a very evil look, and then turns back around and walks out the exit. So Foley sort of insinuating that McIntyre's losing his mind here over all this after losing that match to Bray, but perhaps Bray just has Drew McIntyre's number, and we'll see what happens from here. But we got a lot more to get to with this, and that's why I'm kind of excited. I want to get to No Mercy because we're really building something here, and we'll get there. 83, we'll take it. All right, it is our main event, the 8-man tag with 77. So a decent match, actually, knowing that we got the Viking Raiders involved. they're not that over, but a decent match here as it is the group of Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and the Usos getting the win over Priest, Cena, and the Viking Raiders. Seth Rollins hits the curb stomp on Eric of the Viking Raiders to get the win. And as we look at here at our in-ring performances, Seth and Cena at the top there, no surprise on that. Gets a 77, but as you know, we've got a lot that we can play with when it comes to an 8-man tag, and that's exactly what we're going to do here because we have some angles to finish things up, but a nice main event. And what do you know? The Usos get a win, right? Well, they're not involved in the finish here, but we're going to play that up next as it is Roman Reigns who makes his way down after this match, and you've got Jimmy and Jay showing a little frustration with one another here during the match, and of course we can't play that up during the actual match, but we sensed a little frustration between these two, a little bickering back and forth, and it's Reigns who walks down and taunts Jimmy and Jay, once again telling them, you didn't win this match. It was Seth Rollins who won this match, and he just continues to taunt them like he wants them to embrace this. He wants them to just completely tear each other apart. So Reigns sort of taunting them, egging it on here, and we gets at 82 overall. But as Reigns is doing that, and Jimmy and Jay start to make their way to the back, they're again bickering with each other. They start to walk to the back, and Reigns is just sort of enjoying this a little bit. Out of nowhere, Damian Priest just decks Roman Reigns. He nails him, and then he throws him into the ring. 82 overall here as Priest, just completely just throws Reigns into the ring. He's knocked out. He's taken down in this, and Reigns looking excellent. And then Priest sort of looks up, and here comes The Rock. As The Rock walks down, and he gets into the ring, Roman Reigns is laid out in the middle of the ring. Rock sets up for the People's Elbow on Reigns. The people are losing their mind. Here we go. We're going to see the People's Elbow, but it doesn't happen because Seth Rollins, who of course is out there from the match, hits The Rock and then Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's taken both men down. Reigns is down. Rock's down. Priest is down. Seth Rollins, Money in the Bank. Reigns is down. So all three are down in the ring, and you see Rollins look at all three of them, and then he squarely turns his attention to Roman Reigns. As Seth walks over, Reigns is out from being decked by Damian Priest, and then Rollins, we almost got it. Rollins looks down at the fallen Roman Reigns, and then he helps him up as he holds the Money in the Bank briefcase in one hand. He helps Reigns up with the other hand, and Roman Reigns sort of turns and gives an eye at Seth Rollins, and then Reigns looks down at that Money in the Bank briefcase as we go off the air with Rollins helping up Roman Reigns, even though the opportunity perhaps was there to cash in the Money in the Bank. So, 99. We almost got that 100. But a fantastic rating here to end the show. And once again, we're building all these different sort of storylines within storylines here. But there is another sort of plot point in our build towards our tag team match at No Mercy between The Rock and Damian Priest against Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And we get an 86 here. So another fantastic show. SmackDown is on a roll right now. There's no other way to put it. We are hitting on all cylinders on SmackDown. I don't even remember now. I know we had the really good show a couple weeks ago. I don't remember exactly what our last rating was, but we have been hitting this number. We are definitely increasing our ratings on SmackDown. Yes, that's where Roman Reigns, The Rock, Rollins, all these sort of intertwined storylines we have going are really helping. But we also have the stuff with Cena and Zayn is doing well. The women's stuff, as we saw, there's good stuff going on there. So even the triple threat, right? The Intercontinental Championship, like we've got a stare down here that does a 76. So everyone is just they're hitting their mark on SmackDown. So I am certainly pleased with that. We got a lot of momentum right now on SmackDown heading into this No Mercy pay-per-view. So let's see what we need to get to before we wrap up this episode. All right, so SmackDown, excellent, struck gold. You're not surprised by that at this point, I would hope. Anything down here that looks interesting? Let's see. Serena D versus Thunder Rosa in the NWA. That'll be a good feud. That's an interesting one. Isaiah Cassidy was available in AEW. I just decided not to sign him, although his stats are pretty good if you actually look at it. Not bad, but it's got some good stuff here. But we just decided we didn't really need him given our current roster. So he's back with AEW. Let's look at our mail here. Looks like Lance Storm relocating to the Tri-State. All right, getting closer to the boss. Bobby Lashley now in the Mid-South. Good for him. Nice little retirement tour, I guess. Roman Reigns has an opinion. Who's this going to be about? It's going to be Ricochet? What do we think? I think it's going to be Ricochet. Oh, no, it's Alexa Bliss. Wow, Alexa Bliss talks well. Give the kid promo time, and the crowds will respond. So I think we know who the head of the table is going for here in this SmackDown Women's Championship feud we got going on. So that's very interesting. Roman Reigns behind Alexa Bliss. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. All right. Drug test fees. SmackDown gets a 5.66. I've got to think that's our highest rating so far. Is it? It's got to be close. We'll look at it. We almost hit the 5 million viewers overall on that. So that's interesting. We're going to look at that in a second. All right. That is this is going to be I think that's BFAB. I'm pretty sure. So sure, her contract was up in NXT, and unlike WWE, we're not going to release her. So we'll bring her back. Let's see here. I'm going to check out that rating. So 5.66, our highest TV rating. So SmackDown is just rolling. I mean, we are feeling it on SmackDown. Let's look at that actually. 86 for that show, 87 for the previous one. I forgot about that. 77 for the one before that. Wow, what did we do on that? That was a terrible show. No. Okay, so yeah, the last two have been really good. So that's what we're looking at here. Wow, yeah, SmackDown, great stuff right now. All right, there was SmackDown, and on the next episode, it will be Raw, of course, as we're going to, kind of get the next step after our huge angle to end Raw. And then, after that, it will be the go-home episode for No Mercy, which, again, I am excited. I think it's going to be a huge pay-per-view. And for the WCW people, the series, 1998 WCW, I am hoping to get the next episode of that up. Maybe also this weekend. We'll see. I may go back to back. We'll see on this, but if not, it'll be up hopefully in the next couple of days. So that will be the next one in our WCW series. But again, on our next episode of WWE 2021, it will be Raw. And as always, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit that subscribe button down there. You guys are, again, the best, and I love the support, as we talked about in the last episode. Milestone episode number 50. Now we march on to try to get even higher. Let's go towards 100 now. That's our next goal. So that's what we will do. And on the next episode of this series, it will be Raw for Week 3 in October.